Have you ever been in a conversation and a phrase comes up, a really simple one?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It just completely throws you off. Or maybe you've used one yourself and it didn't land right. You felt like the meaning wasn't quite there.
Totally. That feeling of like, did that actually mean what I thought it meant? Or did they get what I meant?
Exactly. It's the subtle dance, isn't it? Everyday language. But getting those nuances down, that can really, step up your communication, make it clearer.
It really can. It's the difference, like you said, between just sort of speaking the words and, well, truly living the language, understanding it on a deeper level.
Right. Okay, so let's unpack this a bit. Today, we're doing a deep dive. We're looking at these incredibly common English phrases.
Yeah, the ones you hear pretty much constantly.
Exactly. But they're surprisingly nuanced, aren't they? These aren't just vocabulary words you can memorize from a list and be done with.
No, not at all. Much more to them than that.
They're more like, well, the building blocks.
Yeah.
For really clear, effective communication. Maybe the secret sauce, even, to truly sounding like a native speaker.
The secret sauce. I like that analogy. Yeah.
So our mission today, basically, is to pull apart 4 specific phrases. Ones that often trip people up, even like pretty advanced learners sometimes.
I've seen that happen a lot.
We want to get at their real meaning, figure out how you can use them with confidence, and why they actually matter for you and your communication.
Right. And we've got some fantastic insights to draw on here, gleaned from mastering common English phrases. Lots of good stuff.
Yeah, lots to explore. Think of it like finding the hidden superpowers lurking in, everyday words.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's truly fascinating here, I think, beyond just the basic dictionary definition.
Right, which can be misleading sometimes.
Exactly. It's how these simple-sounding phrases, they often hide these layers of meaning, implicit stuff, things that can, totally alter a conversation's direction or, its impact.
The subtext,
Yeah.
the feeling behind it.
Precisely. And if you connect that to the bigger picture, really digging into these nuances helps you stop just sort of translating word for word in your head.
Ah, that's such a good point. Moving beyond translation.
Yeah, it helps you actually start to think in English, to kind of intuitively grasp the unspoken rules, the cultural logic.
The stuff that native speakers just do without thinking about it.
Right, instinctively. So this deep dive is really an opportunity for you to move beyond just rote memorization.
Yeah.
To get those aha moments, where it suddenly clicks why a particular phrase feels right in one situation and just completely wrong in another.
Right, understanding the why behind the usage.
Exactly. It's not just about sounding correct in a grammatical sense. It's about expressing yourself with real precision, articulating your thoughts, your feelings with more accuracy.
And understanding others better too, right?
Yeah.
Without constantly second-guessing what they meant or how you should interpret it.
Exactly. Understanding their intent. It really does empower your voice, doesn't it? It gives you more confidence.
Okay, let's jump into the first one then. This is a real workhorse, like you said, something you hear constantly. Have trouble with something.
Very common.
Now, we all run into difficulties, obviously, but this phrase, it isn't just about a quick hiccup, is it?
No, not usually.
It's more about experiencing a sustained difficulty, or maybe an ongoing struggle with a task, or a concept, or even a situation.
Yeah, ongoing struggle is a good way to put it. It suggests something persistent.
Right, a persistent challenge, not just a fleeting obstacle. And the grammar, it's pretty straightforward, but important for clarity. It's usually followed by a gerund, the igging verb form, or sometimes just a noun.
Right. The structure points to the thing that's causing the struggle.
Exactly. So if I say, I have trouble understanding the new software, I'm not just saying it's tricky right this second.
No, it implies more than that.
Right. It implies an ongoing cognitive struggle with it. Like I keep hitting a wall trying to figure it out. It's a recurring battle.
Yeah, that's a perfect example. Or with a noun.
Or with a noun, yeah, like she has trouble with math.
Yeah.
That suggests a more general, consistent difficulty with the whole subject.
Right. Across different parts of math, perhaps over a long time, it's not just, oh, I bombed one test.
Exactly. It speaks to that repeated friction, that area that just consistently causes difficulty.
That's a really key distinction, and it brings up an important question, I think, for you listening. What is the real difference between saying, I have a problem, and I have trouble with something?
Good question. They sound similar on the surface.
They do, but the core insight is really in the ongoing nature and the implication of the challenge. Have trouble with something almost always signals a recurring, persistent difficulty.
Okay, persistent.
Yeah, something that you keep encountering, not just a one-off issue that you might solve and then it's gone.
Right, like a specific glitch versus a general difficulty using something.
Exactly. Think of it as identifying a pattern of struggle, like a personal area where things just consistently don't come easily for you. It's your personal recurring challenge flag, if you like.
Okay, I like that recurring challenge flag.
Yeah. And to illustrate that, think about the feeling it conveys. It suggests a personal, maybe even enduring area of difficulty that you keep bumping up against. It's less about a sudden, isolated obstacle that just popped up and more about a consistent challenge you faced before or you expect to face again.
Okay, so contrast that with I have a problem, like your car example.
Right. If your car won't start this morning, you'd say, I have a problem with my car, it won't start.
Okay, immediate issue, specific.
Exactly. It's an immediate, specific issue. You hope to solve it, get it fixed, and then the problem is gone.
Right. Hopefully.
Hopefully. But if you consistently struggle to understand how cars work, like despite trying to learn, you'd probably say, I have trouble with car repairs.
I see. So that implies a persistent lack of understanding or maybe just aptitude.
Exactly. Or maybe even just a mental block when you approach car stuff. It's about the ongoing difficulty with the process or the subject.
That makes perfect sense now. The depth and duration. So how does it compare then to something like, I find it difficult? Because that also expresses difficulty.
That's a really sharp question, and the nuance there is quite telling, actually. Both phrases obviously talk about difficulty.
Right.
But I find it difficult is often a more direct, maybe even more objective statement about the inherent challenge of the thing itself.
Okay, like the thing is just hard,
Yeah.
objectively speaking.
Yeah. Like, I find advanced calculus difficult. That's almost a statement of fact about calculus itself. Its complexity. It feels a bit external. Whereas I have trouble with advanced calculus. That puts the focus squarely on your personal ongoing experience of struggling with it.
It's more subjective. About my interaction with it.
Exactly. It emphasizes the active engagement with that difficulty. Your inner battle, maybe, your repeated attempts and the friction you feel.
Okay, I see the shift in focus.
Yeah. And for you, the listener, getting this distinction, it can really help you express empathy more effectively or even ask for help in a clearer way. Well, if someone says, I have trouble with X, it kind of invites a different kind of support, doesn't it?
Yeah, like maybe patient teaching or sharing strategies.
Exactly. Or ongoing assistance. It signals a need for help with a persistent struggle, whereas just saying X is a problem might just get you a quick fix, a one-time solution.
Right, because have trouble implies it's likely to happen again.
Precisely. It signals that deeper, more personal engagement with the challenge. And, it's also a polite, very common way to admit you're struggling with something without sounding overly dramatic or, conversely, too simplistic about it.
Yeah, it's relatable.
It is. It fosters clearer communication about personal capabilities and limitations, which is just invaluable in pretty much any interaction, work, or personal.
I can definitely see how that changes the dynamic. Let's make it even more concrete, some real-world examples. Where might you genuinely have trouble with something? Academically or professionally, it's everywhere, right? Like, many students have trouble with advanced calculus. Again, not just one tricky problem set, but the subject as an ongoing hurdle.
A common area of difficulty.
Or in a team setting, our team is having trouble coordinating schedules for the project.
Ah, yes, the scheduling nightmare.
Right. It points to that consistent difficulty in getting everyone aligned. It's a recurring logistical headache, not just, one missed meeting last week.
A systemic issue, almost.
Yeah. And then on a more practical, maybe technical level, how many of us can relate to this? I have trouble remembering passwords for all my accounts.
Oh, tell me about it. Daily struggle.
It's not that you forgot one password one time. It's the constant personal battle to keep track of all those complex credentials we need now.
The sheer volume.
Or even a simple everyday thing, like parking in a city. Do you ever have trouble parking in this crowded area?
Yeah, asking about a general tendency.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not asking if you had one bad parking experience yesterday. It's asking if finding a spot there is a consistent source of difficulty, maybe stress, for you.
A recurring pain point.
And it works for social and personal stuff, too.
Yeah.
We might say he has trouble making small talk at parties.
Suggests a pattern of social awkwardness.
Right. A consistent social anxiety or difficulty in just initiating and keeping that light conversation going, or something more intimate. She has trouble expressing her feelings sometimes.
Yeah. That points to an ongoing emotional barrier or maybe a communication pattern, not just one instance where she clammed up.
Right. It's about sometimes the recurring nature.
Exactly. Notice how in every single one of those examples, it's not about a single isolated incident.
No, it's a pattern.
It's a pattern or a general disposition or an enduring challenge. And for you, the learner, using this phrase correctly, it adds this layer of sophistication, this nuanced to your English. It lets you articulate specific ongoing challenges or personal difficulties without either overstating them, making them sound like a massive drama,
Right.
or understating them so much that they sound trivial or simplistic. It's a very human, very relatable way to describe a struggle. And it tends to invite understanding rather than judgment.
That's a good point. It feels less like complaining and more like stating a fact about your experience.
Exactly. And a common pitfall for learners is actually overusing "I have a problem" when "I have trouble with" would be much more accurate and natural.
Oh, interesting. Like how?
Well, saying something like, "I have a problem with understanding this report,"
Yeah.
it almost sounds like the report itself is the problem, like it's flawed or causing issues externally.
Right. Blaming the report.
Sort of. Whereas saying, "I have trouble understanding this report," correctly conveys your personal difficulty in grasping its content. The focus is on your internal struggle.
Got it. That's a subtle but important shift.
It really is. So maybe the deep dive takeaway for "have trouble with something" is this. Use it to signal a consistent personal struggle or recurring difficulty, which then paves the way for targeted understanding and support. Remember, it's about your experience with the difficulty, not just an external problem existing.
Okay, that's super clear. Consistent personal struggle. Got it. All right, now that we've got a handle on expressing those persistent difficulties, let's pivot completely. Let's talk about adding real punch, expressing powerful emphasis.
Okay, shifting gears.
Yeah. Our second phrase is one that definitely packs a punch. By far.
Yes, the amplifier.
Totally. When you use by far, you're not just saying something is, good or big or difficult.
Yeah.
You're saying it's significantly better, worse, bigger, smaller, whatever the quality is. Significantly more so than anything else in its category.
Right, it blows the competition out of the water, so to speak.
Exactly. It's all about emphasizing an extreme, making a really definitive statement that there's a huge, noticeable difference. It highlights the exceptional nature of something, pushing it right to the very top, or maybe the very bottom of the list.
Sets it completely apart.
And its typical usage is quite specific, isn't it?
Yes, generally with superlatives.
Right. Almost always used with superlative adjectives, the best, the worst, the biggest, the smallest, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You might sometimes hear it with comparatives, but that's usually for a really strong contrast, where it almost feels like a superlative anyway.
Yeah, where one thing just completely outshines the other.
Exactly. The core idea is just expressing that one thing is distinctively, remarkably different. It's in a league of its own compared to all the others.
And what's really captivating here, I think, is the sheer power and impact that by far adds.
Yeah, it's not subtle.
And not at all. It doesn't just mean a little bit better or somewhat more difficult. It means the difference is so great, so undeniable, that it utterly eclipses all the others in comparison.
Okay, eclipses. I like that.
Yeah. It implies this substantial, unassailable gap, a real gulf between the item you're describing and everything else in its group. It's a statement of ultimate distinction, leaves no room for argument about its extreme position. It really just magnifies whatever adjective it's modifying.
It definitely does. And you mentioned placement before. That's pretty crucial for this one too, right? For making it sound natural.
Absolutely crucial. This is one where learners often misstep, affecting the flow and impact. For the most natural, punchy sound, by far, usually needs to come before the superlative, adjective, or adverb, or the phrase it's modifying.
Okay, so before the best or worst.
Exactly. So while you might occasionally hear someone say, maybe more casually, "This is the best movie by far,"
I think I've said that.
it's understandable, sure, but the more natural, stronger, and sort of grammatically preferred phrasing is definitely, "This is by far the best movie."
Right. Putting it up front gives it that immediate emphasis.
Precisely. Placing it before the superlative reinforces that emphasis right away. It sets the tone for the extreme comparison you're about to make, and it just makes your statement sound inherently more fluent, more native-like. It attaches directly to the quality you're highlighting.
That makes sense. It leads with the emphasis.
Yeah, and using by far also signals your really strong conviction, doesn't it? It removes any ambiguity about your ranking or your assessment.
Yeah, no hedging.
Exactly. It leaves zero room for subtle differences or potential misinterpretations. You are asserting an absolute, not just a minor distinction. It's a statement that basically says, look, I am fully confident in this extreme judgment, and I want you to feel that confidence too.
I've definitely heard it at the end of sentences, like you mentioned. And now that you point out the difference, yeah, placing it first does give it more punch. Is there ever a time when putting it at the end works just as well? Or is upfront always better?
That's a great question about that subtle emphasis. While by far the best is generally stronger, putting it at the end isn't necessarily, wrong. It just often feels a bit more like an afterthought, or maybe a quick addendum.
Okay, like less integrated into the main point.
Yeah, like this is the best movie by far.
Yay.
It still does the meaning across, sure, but it lacks that immediate front-loaded impact you get when you lead with it.
I hear the difference.
Think of it maybe like a dramatic reveal versus just a statement of fact followed by an emphatic nod afterwards.
Okay, good analogy.
So for truly impactful communication, especially if you're in a formal setting or trying to be persuasive, leading with by far is almost always the more effective choice. It signals the extremity right from the get-go, shaping how the listener perceives it immediately.
Okay, so by far, leading the charge is the way to go for maximum impact.
Right.
Let's put this phrase into action then. Some illustrative scenarios. Imagine you're giving an opinion, making a comparison, and you want to be completely unequivocal.
Right. No doubt about it.
Yeah. So reviewing something, you could say, this is by far the most delicious dessert I've ever tasted.
Mm-hmm. High praise indeed.
Totally. You're not just saying it's good. You're saying it stands head and shoulders above every other dessert experience you've had. Truly exceptional.
Sets a new standard.
Exactly. Or maybe after a tough semester. That was by far the most challenging exam of this semester.
Leaves no doubt about which one was the killer.
Right. It was in a league of its own compared to all the others. Everyone knows exactly which one you mean. Then in terms of comparison or ranking, super useful in loads of contexts. Business, maybe. Our new marketing campaign is by far the most successful one we've launched.
Right. Communicates outstanding performance.
Yeah, not just slightly better. It eclipsed all the previous efforts, set a whole new benchmark. Or describing physical things, maybe sports. She's by far the tallest player on the basketball team.
Obvious, significant difference.
Exactly. It highlights a significant, easily seen difference in height that just sets her apart from everyone else, makes her presence unmistakable. And it's just as good for quantifying things, emphasizing an extreme, often with a sense of, stark reality. You might observe the cost of living in that city is by far the highest in the country.
Yeah, a statement with real weight.
Right. It's not just saying it's expensive. It's saying it's in a totally different category, far exceeding costs anywhere else. Crucial info if you're thinking of moving there.
Absolutely. Or even historically.
Yeah, historically. The invention of the internet was by far the most impactful technological advancement of the late 20th century.
Hard to argue with that one.
Right. These examples just show how by far takes a simple statement and just elevates it, makes it this powerful, definitive assertion, conveys a real sense of scale and impact.
And if we connect this back to the bigger picture for you, the learner, by far, is just an incredibly potent tool for impact, for persuasion in your communication. It allows you to express really strong opinions, make definitive statements, and it adds significant persuasive power and clarity. It's pretty essential, actually, for making your points totally unmistakable.
So people really get the magnitude of what you're saying.
Exactly. Ensuring your audience understands the sheer magnitude of the distinction you're highlighting. Without, by far, your statement might just get interpreted as, pretty good or a bit challenging.
When you mean absolutely exceptional or uniquely difficult.
Precisely.
Wow.
That gap in meaning is huge. Now, a common pitfall. Using by far with just simple adjectives or comparatives when a superlative isn't genuinely implied or stated.
Like saying it was by far good.
Exactly. That just sounds awkward, incorrect. You need that the best, the worst, the most difficult. It needs that superlative anchor.
Okay.
Another mistake is maybe pairing it with something that isn't truly an extreme, that can make you sound hyperbolic, maybe even insincere.
Right, like that was by far a decent cup of coffee. It just sounds weird.
Totally weird. It needs to genuinely be in an extreme category for the phrase to land properly. So the deep dive takeaway for by far is deploy by far when you want to make an utterly undeniable, impactful statement about an extreme, ensuring your audience grasps the sheer magnitude of your comparison. It's your ultimate amplifier for those superlatives.
Ultimate amplifier. Got it. Okay, powerful stuff. Let's transition again from emphasizing extremes to expressing certainty.
Okay, certainty.
Our third phrase, I'm positive. Now this one could be tricky because positive on its own often means, cheerful or optimistic.
Good vibes.
Right. But in this specific context, when someone says, I'm positive, it means something very different. It unequivocally means I am absolutely certain, I am sure.
Yeah, it's about conviction regarding facts.
Exactly. It's a declaration of factual conviction, not an emotional state. So it's really crucial to emphasize that distinction for everyone listening. It's not about having a good outlook or feeling optimistic about how something will turn out. It's about having an extremely high level of confidence in the truth or the accuracy of a statement you're making.
Right. You're staking a claim on its factuality.
Yeah. When you say, I'm positive, you're essentially stating that you believe something to be a verifiable fact, or at least a truth you are personally convinced of, usually based on, strong evidence, direct knowledge, or maybe you just checked it.
You have grounds for that certainty.
Right. It's your way of saying, look, this is what I know to be true, and I stand by it.
And what's really fascinating here, I think, is the precise and often quite elevated level of certainty that I'm positive conveys.
How elevated?
Well, it's considerably stronger than just saying I think or I believe. Those suggest opinion, maybe inference, maybe a lack of full conviction.
More subjective.
Yeah. And in many situations, I'm positive can even carry more weight than simply I'm sure.
Really?
Yeah.
More than I'm sure.
Often, yes. While I'm sure definitely indicates confidence, I'm positive, frequently implies that you have a very good reason to be that certain.
Ah, like you have proof or direct experience.
Exactly. Perhaps direct first-hand knowledge, recent verification, undeniable evidence that you've personally checked.
Yeah.
It's a statement of personal conviction about information that you're pretty much prepared to stake your credibility on.
Okay, so it carries real weight.
Stakes are higher. They often feel higher, yeah. Understanding when it's appropriate to use this phrase is therefore key to sounding truly native and credible. You should really employ I'm positive when you want to strongly affirm something. Maybe to correct a misunderstanding that's floating around, or to state a fact with unwavering conviction in a situation where certainty genuinely matters.
Right, like when accuracy is paramount.
Precisely. If someone questions a piece of information and you know it to be true from personal experience or checking, I'm positive is your go-to. It signals that your certainty isn't just based on a guess or a feeling.
But on a solid foundation, knowledge or verification.
Exactly. It's a way of saying, look, you can trust what I'm telling you because I have zero doubt and here's probably why. And this clear distinction from I'm optimistic or I'm hopeful, it's vital. Context is everything here.
Right. Give us an example of that context shift.
Okay. If you say, I'm positive about the future of this project, clearly context tells us you mean you're optimistic, hopeful.
Emotional state.
Right. But if you say, I'm positive that the meeting is at 10 a.m., I just checked the calendar.
Ah, completely different meaning. Certainty about a fact.
Exactly. The context immediately flips the meaning of positive from optimistic to certain. It really highlights how much English relies on context to disambiguate phrases like this. And mastering that nuance is a real hallmark of advanced comprehension and effective communication.
That context shift is so critical.
Yeah.
I can see how easily you could misuse it and cause confusion if you weren't paying attention.
Yeah.
Let's look at some more real-world examples where I'm positive is the perfect fit, especially, say, recalling information or confirming detail. After a busy morning, maybe heading out, you might declare, I'm positive I locked the door before we left.
Right. Firm recollection easing anxiety.
Yeah, it's not a guess, not a hopeful thought. It's a firm memory that confirms a past action with real conviction. Or, if there's some confusion about a schedule, are you positive about that date for the meeting? I thought it was next week.
Challenging their certainty, seeking high verification.
Exactly. You're questioning their statement and you're demanding a high level of certainty in return, almost daring them to prove you wrong or double check.
Yeah. It's also incredibly useful when you need to confirm a fact that might be disputed or just needs really strong backing.
Right. Like professionally or academically.
Yeah. For instance, I'm positive that's the right answer. I double-checked it with 3 different sources.
Ah, citing the reason for your certainty.
Exactly. That double-checked with 3 sources part adds this layer of foundation to your certainty, making your statement highly credible. Or maybe more casually, or even like a legal context. She's positive she saw him at the library yesterday at exactly 3:15 p.m.
Implies strong recall? Maybe an undeniable eyewitness account?
Precisely. It bolsters the factual claim significantly.
And you mentioned sometimes using it for strong opinions or predictions.
Yeah, but only when that opinion or prediction is based on such strong conviction that you're treating it almost like a fact because the evidence seems overwhelming to you.
Okay.
Like, I'm positive he'll win the election, his polls are off the charts, and I've seen the enthusiasm firsthand.
Right. So the conviction comes from both data and personal observation.
Exactly. It makes the prediction feel less like a guess and more like a certainty you'd be willing to bet on. In all these cases, I'm positive serves to eliminate doubt and assert something as truth as you know it, lending real weight to your words. So, connecting this back to the bigger picture, using I'm positive correctly adds significant credibility, significant weight to your statements. For you, the learner, it really helps you convey confidence and clarity. It helps you avoid ambiguity when you truly mean to assert something as fact, rather than just stating an opinion or, a possibility.
Right. It strengthens your position in the conversation.
It really does. Makes your contributions more impactful, more trustworthy. Now, the pitfall, as we touched on.
Yeah, using it when you're just hopeful.
Exactly. Using I'm positive when you're actually just optimistic or making an educated guess, saying I'm positive it won't rain. If you haven't checked the forecast and are just, feeling sunny, it really dilutes the phrase's power over time. You should reserve it for genuine certainty.
Okay.
Another, maybe smaller mistake is using it too casually in situations where the stakes are really low. It can sometimes make you sound overly assertive, maybe even a bit aggressive when you don't intend to. Like, I'm positive I want coffee. It's a bit much, isn't it? A simple I want coffee or I'd love a coffee is perfectly fine. Using I'm positive there can sound a little odd, a bit intense.
Yeah. Okay. Use it when certainty actually matters.
Precisely. So the deep dive takeaway for I'm positive is employ it to declare undeniable certainty based on knowledge or verification, not mere optimism or a guess, ensuring your conviction translates directly and precisely to your listener. It's your verbal stamp of undeniable truth.
Verbal stamp of truth. I like that. Okay, one more phrase to go. And this is one I think everyone has uttered in frustration, especially with new tech or flat pack furniture.
Oh boy, I know where this is going.
Right. I can't figure out how to.
The cry of the confused.
Totally. This phrase isn't just saying something is generally difficult. It's specifically about being unable to understand the method, the procedure, the process for doing something. It zeroes right in on a specific kind of cognitive block.
Yeah, the how-to aspect is completely missing for you.
Exactly. And the grammar here is absolutely crucial, very specific.
The structure tells the story.
It does. It's always followed by an infinitive verb that's how to plus the base form of the verb.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't say, I can't figure out operating this.
No, sounds wrong.
Right? Say, I can't figure out how to operate this. That how-to part is the absolute key differentiator. It signals the problem lies in grasping the way or the mechanism of the action, not just a general inability or lack of tools.
And this raises an important question. Why is that how-to so fundamental here? Why does it change the meaning so much?
Good question. Why?
Well, it's because it precisely specifies the nature of the difficulty you're facing. You're not saying you lack the physical ability to do it or you don't have the right tools or resources.
Okay.
Instead, you're clearly communicating that you cannot understand the specific steps, the sequence, the logic required to actually perform the action. It's a cognitive block related to the instructional pathway.
Yeah.
You can't connect the dots procedurally.
Okay. So it's a brain thing, not a brawn thing or a tools thing.
Exactly. And the implication of using this phrase is also quite telling. It suggests you've probably already made an active attempt to understand.
Right. You've tried.
Yeah. You've likely looked at the instructions, you've tried to follow along, maybe you even poked around and experimented a bit, but you've failed to grasp the necessary steps or the logic behind them. It's a phrase that really encapsulates that intellectual and practical frustration, that moment where the light bulb just refuses to turn on for the process you need.
Yeah, I know that feeling well. So contrast that with just, I can't do X.
Right. If you say, I can't do a handstand, well, that could just mean you lack the physical strength or balance.
Physical limitation.
But if you say, I can't figure out how to do a handstand, that means you don't understand the technique, the balance points, the body mechanics, even if you might be physically capable otherwise.
Okay. The understanding of the method is missing.
Precisely. Or, I can't do this repair might mean you don't have the right wrench. But I can't figure out how to do this repair means you don't understand the sequence of steps, even if all the tools are sitting right there. The how-to specifically flags that the understanding of the process is the missing piece.
Got it.
And this phrase is just incredibly useful in situations like, calling tech support, or when you're learning any new skill or trying to navigate complex systems online or offline. It lets you precisely communicate the exact hurdle you're facing, which is invaluable for getting targeted help and actually moving forward. It's a very diagnostic phrase for problem solving.
That distinction really clarifies it, especially, like you said, for asking for help. It tells the other person exactly what kind of help you need, not just it's broken, but I don't get how to fix it, use it.
Exactly. Show me the steps.
Right. Let's explore some common situations where I can't figure out how to just perfectly captures that feeling of grappling with a method or a procedure. Technology is a big one.
Huge.
You buy a new gadget. I just bought this new smart thermostat, but I can't figure out how to connect it to my Wi-Fi.
The dreaded setup phase.
Right. It's not that the device is broken. It's the specific sequence of button presses or app configurations or whatever that's just eluding you. Or the classic flat pack furniture dilemma, a truly universal experience.
The ultimate test of patience.
Right. The instructions are confusing. I can't figure out how to assemble this bookshelf, especially this cryptic diagram B. You have all the pieces, all the screws. But the way they're supposed to go together is a complete mystery, despite your best efforts staring at it.
The logic isn't clicking.
Exactly. And it's equally applicable in problem-solving scenarios, too, whether they're intellectual or practical. Tackling a complex logic puzzle, maybe a Sudoku or something, you might exclaim, this puzzle is tricky. I can't figure out how to solve it efficiently. I keep hitting dead ends.
Right. Not saying it's impossible, but the strategy is missing.
Yeah. The specific strategy or the optimal approach to unlock the solution is just beyond your current grasp. Or in coding, maybe. A developer might say, the code isn't working, and I can't figure out how to debug it effectively without breaking three other things.
A common frustration there, knowing the goal, but not the path.
Exactly. They know what they want the code to do, but the method for finding and fixing the error safely is proving elusive. And it even extends to more abstract concepts, right? Especially when learning or trying to apply new knowledge.
Definitely.
You might be studying, say, a new theory in economics or psychology, and you realize, okay, even after reading the explanation like 5 times, I can't figure out how to apply this theory in practice to these real-world case studies.
The theory to practice gap.
Exactly. The theoretical understanding might be there, more or less, but the process of translating it into practical application, that's the missing link. That's the operational hurdle. In all these cases, it boils down to a failure to grasp the how-to, a very specific kind of mental or procedural block.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, I can't figure out how to, is just an incredibly valuable, incredibly precise phrase for articulating that specific kind of learning or operational blockage. For you, the learner, it really empowers you. It empowers you to ask for incredibly targeted help. You can clearly communicate what you don't understand, the method, the sequence, the process, rather than just vaguely stating, I'm stuck or this is difficult. And that precision, it's a huge asset in any collaborative or learning environment, makes getting help so much easier.
Yeah, it saves so much time and frustration on both sides.
Totally. Now, the pitfall, maybe the most common one for learners here, is confusing I can't figure out how to with simply I can't do.
Right. The example you gave about lifting the box.
Exactly. If you physically cannot lift a heavy box, you just say, I can't lift this box. You wouldn't normally say, I can't figure out how to lift this box unless the specific lifting technique, like proper ergonomic form to avoid injury, was the actual problem you couldn't grasp.
Okay. So it's usually about the cognitive process, the understanding, not just physical ability or lacking resources.
Precisely. It's about the brain not grasping the method. So the final deep dive takeaway for I can't figure out how to is Use it to precisely communicate a cognitive block regarding the method, procedure, or steps required to perform an action, allowing for highly targeted assistance. It actually shows initiative you've tried, you've thought about it, and now you need specific instruction. That makes it much easier for someone to help you effectively.
Okay, that's really helpful. So 4 phrases down. We've journeyed through have trouble with something, by far, I'm positive, and I can't figure out how to. Wow, what an interesting and pretty extensive deep dive into language we use every day, but maybe don't fully think about.
Yeah, it's amazing how much nuance is packed into these common expressions.
Totally. We've seen how each phrase carries its own unique weight, its own specific nuance that goes way beyond just the surface meaning. They're like powerful little tools in your communication arsenal if you know how to use them right.
Absolutely. Tools for precision.
Yeah. So just to quickly recap those core insights. Have trouble with something that's your signal for a persistent or recurring difficulty, right?
Yeah.
An ongoing personal struggle, not a one-off problem.
The recurring challenge flag.
Exactly. Then, by far, that's your powerful amplifier. Use it to emphasize an extreme, make a definitive, undeniable statement that something is significantly better, worse, bigger, whatever, than all the others.
Right. The ultimate amplifier for superlatives.
Then, I'm positive. That's your direct declaration of definitive certainty. It's backed by conviction, by knowledge, not just a cheerful outlook or a simple guess.
Your verbal stamp of truth.
Love it. And finally, I can't figure out that precisely communicates a specific struggle with understanding the process or the method for doing something, inviting that really targeted guidance instead of just general help.
Pinpointing the how-to blockage.
Exactly.
And, these phrases might seem like really small components in the grand scheme of learning English. Tiny little things.
Yeah, easy to overlook.
Totally. But mastering them, really understanding and using them accurately, it makes a profound difference in your ability to communicate with precision, with confidence, and frankly, with more native-like fluency. It's about becoming more articulate, maybe more persuasive in your arguments when needed, and ultimately just being more thoroughly understood by the people you're talking to, which is the goal, right?
Absolutely. Connection and understanding.
Yeah. And this brings up, I think, an important question for you, the listener. How will you now actively listen for these specific phrases in your daily interactions? And maybe more importantly, how will you start to integrate them consciously, deliberately, into your own spoken and written English?
Yeah, moving from passive understanding to active use.
Exactly. True mastery doesn't just come from nodding along and understanding them intellectually as we discuss them. It comes from recognizing these patterns out there in real-time conversations, in things you read, and then bravely attempting to use them yourself in the right situations.
Taking the leap.
Yeah. The more you use them, the more natural they'll feel, the more instinctive they'll become. It's practice.
Definitely. And here's maybe where it gets really interesting, thinking beyond just these 4. If these common phrases, which seem so simple on the surface, hold this much hidden depth and nuance, what other seemingly simple expressions in English are you perhaps unknowingly misusing or just completely overlooking? What other rich, subtle layers of meaning are just waiting there for you to uncover simply by paying closer attention to the everyday language all around you?
That's a fantastic question to leave people with. It really makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's like a whole world of linguistic discovery hiding in plain sight.
It really is. And consider this. Language isn't static, right? It's a living, breathing thing. It's constantly evolving, layered with all this implicit meaning, cultural assumptions. Every phrase, honestly, no matter how common it seems, is like this tiny little window into how native speakers perceive the world, how they categorize things, how they interact with each other.
Yeah, a window into a way of thinking.
Exactly. So by truly diving deep, like we've tried to do today, into even the most common expressions, you're not just learning vocabulary words. You're gaining real profound insight into a culture, into a way of thinking, and ultimately into a much more sophisticated understanding of communication itself.
Wow, that's a powerful way to look at it.
So the final thought maybe is, what new phrase will you challenge yourself to really unpack next? What everyday expression will you decide to explore on a deeper level? The potential for discovery is huge.